Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be going over a very stressing and uninformed thing called insurance, specifically dental insurance. So as always, I'm not a dentist. What I am is I've just had many years of experience with dentists in the dental field, helping people and the dentist specifically on educating patients on what it was that the dentist found, what can they do to prevent them from getting it again, and also what could have potentially caused them to put themselves in that situation, as well as going over finances and how I can help them to pay for the procedures that they have to get done at a very affordable cost. So at the end of the day, everyone gets the smile that they're looking for. So without further ado, insurance. Now, what is insurance? There's different types of insurance. Primarily what I'm going to be talking about is dental insurance. Now, dental insurance is entirely different from all your other insurances. It's a whole different world. It's a completely different ball game. So dental insurance specifically is not even close to the same amount as medical insurance. Medical insurance, sometimes they can give you up to $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, even $300,000 of coverage. Dental insurance, the average is about $1,500. I've seen some insurances that I think in my years of experience, I've probably seen maybe two insurances that don't have a limit, but they take everything on a case by case basis. So what that means is that depending on what you have to do, they'll cover certain things, and then other things they just won't cover. But the most common one that most people have that I've seen, it's anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000. Good insurances, I've seen up to $3,000, and that's what they'll cover. In addition to that, it's not like medical insurance where you have a deductible and then you have to pay that deductible, be it $500, $1,000, $2,000, and then after that, the insurance is going to cover everything 100%. For the most part, dental insurance is not like that. The only thing that for the most part, I would say like 95% of the time, dental insurance covers are your routine checkup and cleanings, and those are x-rays. It could be 4 bite wings, which are just a specific type of x-ray that you take that goes primarily for the molars. PAs, which are more of on a vertical type of x-ray if the dentist wants to see the root, or primarily for your front teeth. A panoramic, which is a full mouth x-ray. And then and then they'll cover 100% of your comprehensive exams, which is a full oral checkup, emergency exams, routine exams, and then they'll cover your pro fees. And then for children, I would say maybe like 60 or 70% of the time, they'll cover it at 100%. They'll cover for fluoride. And then there are other things that they might cover at 100%. But for the most part, most insurances, that's primarily what they will cover at 100%. And that's it. Everything else, there is a copay for. And a copay varies depending on the plan that you have. So every person that exists does not have the same plan. You may work at the same job, but your friend, your coworker might have a different insurance plan. Now, there are not many insurance companies, but there are thousands of insurance plans. So it is very difficult that just because you have a coworker and say, oh, my coworker has my insurance, that's true. He might have the same insurance company as you, but he might not have the same insurance plan that you have. And those always have to get checked out by the person who deals with insurance in any office. For dental insurances, you normally have, and then also it varies by state. So for example, in the state of New Jersey, it is mandatory for any office that takes dental insurance, they have to mandatorily collect the copay. In New York, for example, it is not mandatory for the dentist to collect the copay. So somebody who lives in New York and goes to the dentist might have never had a copay, even though their insurance is not covered at 100%. And then they come to New Jersey because they might visit family or friends and they have an emergency. They go to the dentist, and then lo and behold, the dentist they say, oh, there's a copay. Oh, but I've never had a copay before. And I in New York, I never have to pay for copays. Well, that's the reason why. And again, it has nothing to do with the dentist or where you're going. It just has to do with the state. And those copays, again, have always been there. It's just that you might have not had to pay for them for whatever reason. Again, depending on the state that you live in or what type of insurance you have, or even the person that that is handling your insurance. So going back to copays, a copay varies. So every procedure has a different type. Insurances normally separate them under the three major ones, which are preventative, basic, and major. Basic is just any that's a basic procedure. For example, filling. A root canal in most insurances actually, is considered basic. Major is mostly prosthetic work, so crowns, dentures, bridges, Things that have to do with prosthetics are normally major, but there are also extractions like wisdom teeth extractions and things like that are covered under a major. And what those three things mean is mostly they're split into percentages. So anything that's under preventative normally is covered at 100%. Basic ranges, it could be anywhere between 80%. On the average, what I'm normally seeing is about 80%, but it can be as low as 50% depending on your plan. Major is normally at 50%, but I have seen major at 80%. I've seen all three of them at 100%, but it's very rare. Most of the normal one is normally preventative 100, basic 80, major 50. That's like the norm. And then any other procedures that are outside of those are normally covered into any one of those three percentages. Now, again, it's not for everybody because every insurance plan is different. So while for most people, getting a perio maintenance might be covered under basic, which is 80% for the most part, it could also be while your basic might be 80%, the perio might be covered at 90 or 70 or even 50 or not covered at all. It is entirely different based on the plan that you have. So these are things that, from what I've seen, honestly, most people that have insurances don't even know. It is very few people that have walked into the practice where I work and have actually known this. Very few. Most of the ones that do know are either because they actually work in the field, be it either they do insurance or they are a dental assistant or even a doctor, know about it. Other than that, but honestly speaking, most people just don't know about it, and they get very surprised when they have to pay a copay. Like, what do you mean I have to pay a copay? I already pay the insurance. Yes, you pay the insurance, but you have to pay copay. Dental insurance is not the same as medical insurance, and the thing is that a lot of people believe that they're pretty much around the same, and they're not. Dental insurance, and I'm going to say it, sucks compared to medical insurance. It is horrible. They haven't changed. It's been the total amount has pretty much been the same since like the 70s and the 80s. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. Hopefully it does. There has been, but throughout history there have been things that have changed. Like, for example, like pre 5 years ago, there was no insurance that covered implants, or there was no insurance that covered Invisalign. And now there are insurances, and they're becoming more and more that are covering implants, and a lot of them even cover, pretty much most of them now cover Invisalign, which is just a regular ortho teeth alignment. So they've been accepted and stuff by insurance companies, but it has been a mission. Originally, before, for example, implants were thought to be just something that was cosmetic, and they've proven time and time again that they are not cosmetic. Implants have a huge health benefit. So while there are insurances that might not cover the implant, they do cover the crown now. But there are more insurances as time has been progressing in the coming years, that where they do cover also the implant. So it has been gotten better, but for example, maximums in terms of what you can get throughout the year have not really changed. They've kind of been the same. And dental insurance is also, for the most part, more expensive than medical insurance, which you would figure would be the opposite, but it's not. So if you have any questions with your insurance, you should definitely contact your insurance company and ask them to give you your personal breakdown. Now, also, when it comes to insurances, the good thing about it, one thing that I like also, is that any procedure that you're done, while the dentist gets what's called an explanation of benefits, with how much the insurance is paying, how much they're covering, you also get one as well. And it's very important for you to understand what is there on the explanation of benefit, which is short for EOB. And just so you understand what is it the insurance is paying, because insurance companies, and one thing that they always say when you call is that nothing that they're telling you is guaranteed, which means that at any moment they can, if they wanted to, deny a claim. And that's always, whenever you call any insurance company, it is the first thing that they say. They tell it on the automated service, and sometimes when you talk to an actual person, they say the exact same thing. Just because they want you to know that at any moment, if they don't want to pay for something, they can opt out of paying for it, and there is nothing you can do. You can argue it, you can send x-rays, you can send explanations and stuff. They're supposed to, and they should, because it's the right thing to do since you're paying for it, but they can always opt out of paying for it for whatever their reason may be. But you should always get informed, especially if you have dental insurance, or even if you have optical insurance, or any other type of insurance that's outside of medical. You should definitely check it out and see what it is that you have, and so that way you can learn what the difference is between medical insurance and all the other insurances, so that way you don't get caught off guard, and also you can make the decision of, do I really want this insurance, or would I just rather pay out of pocket? So that's pretty much it for today. So as always, flourish and prosper.